I was about to start painting, but then I thought, why not film it? So we have my very messy desk full of colors, and I just did a little sketch of a face. You can very barely see it. It's also in photo blue, so until I go over it, you probably won't see anything. But I've decided to use my Kuretake watercolors. But then I thought I don't have a good swatch card for these, because these do come with like a swatch card included in the lid. But because everything is so big and my space is not so big, what I usually do is I put the palette in the lid to conserve space. So I need a different swatch card, like with this, so that I can just have it with me to figure out what, like, especially the darker colors, what they look like and what the lighter colors look like diluted. So we're gonna make a swatch card now, and yeah, you're gonna watch me measure and swatch and everything, and then I'll get back to the painting. I took out the measuring and lining part because I thought that would look a little bit boring, just looking at me making calculations and then measuring everything. I thought looking at colors is way more interesting. So at first I had to put the palette on my lap, and then I was able to put it on my desk. And the colors are so pretty. They are honestly so pretty. I got these quite a while ago, but honestly, they are still gorgeous. They are a little bit different than normal Western watercolors, but I still really enjoy them. Okay. Problem. I finished my swatch card. And you need to step away from this for a second, that's why I don't know if I showed this already. But I made a really pretty swatch card. I think it looks really good. She's so pretty. Oh, I really like my swatch card. What I don't like is everything else right now, because I showed this sketch. Again, it's in a light like photo blue, non-photo blue actually. So it might not show up well on camera, but I liked the sketch, and then I tried to go over it with watercolors, and the worst thing that could happen happened. Can you focus, please? So I started doing her nose, and I was like, oh fuck. Oh hell no. I think my paper expired. I think my paper has gone bad. I don't quite know which paper this is, but I've had this for years. And watercolor paper does go bad. I have not had watercolor paper go bad ever, but I think it just happened. And you can kind of see, like, this is normal watercolor, but it has these fuzzy edges. These, so this row of like colors, I did this years ago. So these are fine. So the yellow, orange, red, blue, green, brown, blah blah blah. So those are fine. But the pink and the like peachy color and the light blue, the green, those I just did, and they are horrible. I'm gonna show you. I'll demonstrate what is wrong with this paper, because it is freaky, honestly, to see this and know that this is actually watercolor paper. Like, did you see that? One, it is super like speckled, and the paper just like absorbed the water, and it's not supposed to do that. It's not supposed to do that. That's not supposed to happen. It's supposed to sit on top so that I can blend it and stuff. I cannot blend that. That's unblendable now. after like a second, this is crazy. The sizing, bad, gone. I could not believe it. I had to call my friend and show her. That's why there's so many. I was like, do you see this? Can you see this? Are you seeing this? I was like, what? I thought it would be funny to show you my real immediate reaction to finding out the paper has gone bad, but it's in German, so I'm gonna put subtitles, but it's hilarious. Qualität auf unbekanntem Aquarellpapier.
Lief nicht so gut.
Was ist denn das? What the fuck? Das ist Aquarellpapier. Ich habe Aquarellfarbe auf dem Pinsel. Du denkst, es ist alles normal. Und es ist eingezogen. Aber so widerlich. Siehst du das?
Ich sehe, was du meinst.
Ist in der Zeit, seit ich es geswatcht habe, das Papier schlecht geworden?
Und es spreadet. Ja, und es breitet sich aus, es bleibt nicht mal da.
Das Sizing ist einfach schlecht geworden.
Würde ich auch sagen.
Okay, back to current time me, who's still not grasping that this happened. This is watercolor, not like a super premium watercolor paper, but that's like, what? This is watercolor paper. It's supposed to watercolor. No watercolor. No watercolor. No. So I was like, well, what am I gonna do now? I want to do this picture because I like the reference I found on Pinterest and I want to paint it. So I grabbed another piece of watercolor paper. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's another cheap paper. I didn't write it on the back because I'm stupid. But I think it might be from Flying Tiger store from years ago. But I tested it and the sizing's still fine. And like this paper specifically, not the paper. This piece specifically, I wanted to use like more opaque watercolors / a little bit of gouache. So like I don't need to use 100% cotton. So that's why I was actually fine with using this paper, the one that's gone bad, because it's like a thinner, cheaper paper. But not if it's gone bad. So I have a very similar sketch. I don't know if you can see it a little bit, but you will be able to see it once I start painting, I think. I start painting, and honestly, I did not like the second sketch as much as the first, but everything was too much. I was not gonna spend an eternity trying to get a great sketch again. And I mean, in the end, I like how it turned out, so whatever. And I did look it up. I bought the Kuretake watercolor palette like 7.5 years ago, roughly. So if you can tell, the paint has kind of shrunken a little bit because it's been like so long. That's why. But I mean, it's still perfectly usable. And the whole paper debacle, it's been a little bit since everything happened. I'm doing the voiceover at a later date. And honestly, thinking about it, it's still a little bit crazy. But it's also kind of a wake-up call, if you know what I mean. Because it's like, yeah, I've had watercolor and I know a watercolor paper for a while and I know it goes bad, but does that actually happen? You know, that kind of thing. But then when it actually happens to you, you're like, oh damn, it does actually happen in real life. It does happen. And it happened to me. It always felt like, I don't know, an urban legend or something, like, ooh, don't use your watercolor paper and it goes bad. But I've never known anybody who'd happened to. It's never happened to me, but now it has. Now I'm acutely aware of that. And I live in fear every day that the next paper pad I'm gonna pull out of my paper rack will be expired. Very scary, very scary thought. But it has also spurred me on in continuing to use up my supplies instead of buying new ones. And I love buying art supplies. Unlike every other person who loves to go art supply shopping, I love to go art supply shopping. It's one of the greatest joys ever. To walk into a store, to touch the paper, to look at the paint, the brushes, the everything, and then just buy. Buy. And when you have so much, there's only so much that you can actually use, right? And some things you just acquire and you pretty much never use it up. Like brushes, you can't really use up a brush unless like the bristles bend or something like that. But watercolor paper is something that I can actually use up, and one of the few things that can actually go bad. So at the beginning of this year, I said to myself, I will not buy more watercolor paper. And I did fail a tiny bit because I bought mini watercolor blocks from Heyhey with different fibers, because I was just so curious, and I thought, the teeny tiny blocks, maybe they don't count. But I also managed to finish 2 paper pads. You win some, you lose some. But yeah, I'm trying to rein in my paper buying urges. And I think it's going reasonably well. Not perfect, but it's okay. But yeah, I really want to use up more of my paper. And I'm also thinking some of it that maybe is not the best quality, but still decent, I'm gonna give it away to my friends. Because if I have the choice, I'm gonna use my favorite papers, obviously. So the papers that are not my favorite always get left behind. And I don't want them to expire as well. So I think I'm gonna give some to my friends as well. Back to the painting. I've not talked about this at all, so sorry. It had a pretty long ugly stage, but I do think in the end it looks quite fun. I've been freezing my ass off ever since winter started. Obviously since the weather's gotten warmer, it's been better, but me and my heated blanket cannot be separated. At work, outside, I'm always freezing. I'm freezing my ass off. So this piece is very much on brand for that. I think I might be done with this piece. I still need to cut it and glue it and stuff. But it's been freezing here lately. I'm gonna glue and cut it so that it looks finished and not so messy. Yeah, see you in like a second. I need to choose a backing paper for this. Yay, I finished the piece. Focus, thank you. I do like it. I mean, it could be better, sure, but it was just like a little for fun piece, and I did enjoy making it. I struggled a bit with the paper because it is fairly cheap cellulose paper, so some of the unsightly parts that bloomed where I didn't want it to were due to that, but yeah, I'm happy with it. So if you enjoyed watching me paint this, maybe consider liking or commenting or even subscribing. I hope you have a great rest of your day and have fun. Bye bye.